What a game. The game of the tournament, one of the greatest World Cup games ever, one of the great knockout games ever. England beating Mexico in the Azteca.
It's surely the greatest win since '66.
An epic performance.
Jude Bellingham is honestly a performance for the ages.
Hello and welcome to the Game Football Podcast from the Times and Sunday Times. This is day 25 of our daily World Cup shows. I'm Tom Clarke. I've got Gregor Robertson and Peter Rutzler with me. Later we're talking Norway and suspended red cards. But first, what a game. The game of the tournament, one of the greatest World Cup games ever, one of the great knockout games ever. England beating Mexico in the Azteca 3-2 with 10 men. An incredible performance from Thomas Tuchel's side. Just brilliant. I'm recording this at 4:30 in the Times offices and I've absolutely lost the plot. We'll do analysis in a minute. We'll do switch to back fives in a second. What a game. What a game.
An epic performance. Like, any doubts or question marks or anything about this England team now just need to be consigned to the bin. To go down to 10 men after everything that had gone before and hold on in the Azteca, in that atmosphere, it was just an extraordinary performance. So many enormous, huge performances, and you're in with a chance on that showing.
In with a chance. Even the Scots are on board, Pete. Can we believe it? Pete, you're out there in America, of course, joining us for this show. What a game. What a game.
Oh, absolutely insane. I'm absolutely shattered. I think they put us through the altitude experience by just putting on that thrilling display. I was just around the corner from my hotel watching it there in a sports bar. Packed, obviously, with a lot of Mexican supporters, and there was about three of us Brits in there, really trying to just, fly the flag. But it was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely sensational. It's the greatest. I'm trying to think, and obviously, I'm quite young, so I can't really claim to say firsthand about performances before I was born. But it's surely the greatest win since '66. Just considering everything that they've gone through in that game, the level of some of the performances, the right decisions made at the right times, and just absolute roller coaster. Amazing, absolutely amazing, and really fantastic atmosphere. I mean, it was brilliant out here. I think a lot of people are certainly getting behind the sport and absolutely packed out and really getting involved in games like that do wonders for interest here. So Amazing display from England. Honestly, it's so weird to say that. So weird. Yeah. I mean, throughout this tournament, even I'm watching the games, I'm just so negative. And I have mates from home saying, "Oh, classic," just so negative. Can't pick out the positives. This is a slightly disorientating new experience, isn't it? Feeling such overwhelming positivity, but also pride, like real pride in what we saw there.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? As you say, Pete, we're probably similar kind of generations as well. We all saw, Argentina in '98, red card for David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, red cards against Portugal. I was watching that game thinking, I know how this ends. I've seen this story before. So the idea that England had it, how impressive is that? We're going to come back. I'll come back to talk about good football and Jude Bellingham and things. But just that character from England and from all the players and from Thomas Tuchel as well with his changes. How impressive was that for England in the Azteca? So much has been made of the Azteca and you could hear it on your TV screens.
I mean, yeah, the fact that Conte was sent off in the 54th minute and you earned the extra kind of cushion, getting another goal, getting the penalty through Gordon and that Kane dispatched, and you needed it. But even then, the fact that Jimenez levelled, there was still more than 20 minutes to play, plus 11 stoppage. That's more than half an hour with a one goal lead, 10 men, and essentially every ball you win back, you're just hoofing it into the Mexico half and getting ready to defend again. And there were some heroic performances, like, I mean, Guéhi, there was one clearance Guéhi made where he kind of wrapped his leg round, it might have been Jimenez, I can't remember, to clear it. It was epic. And Konsa as well, moving out to right wing back, and the ball, when the ball's getting shuffled from left to right, back and forth to shut down the Mexico left back to stop the cross, and then getting back in to cover round. And Jimenez is coming up and doubling up at the back post. He's got to be so alert, and he looked like he was running on fumes, but he just And there were so many of them like that. They just kept going and they kept going. And they kept hoofing it into the half again and getting ready to defend again. And it was just like, I'll be honest, I was watching, I think they can't hold on doing this. They can't hold on doing this. I doubted that they had this in them, and they proved me wrong, and probably a lot of people back home in England too.
And it was amazing to watch, wasn't it, Pete? This was probably a vindication and a moment where you go, that is Thomas Tuchel, and that's why England and the FA went to go and get him for that exact moment. Because you saw it, didn't you? When that red card was issued to Jarrell Kwanzaa, the camera immediately turned to Thomas Tuchel and Anthony Barry on the bench, and they're in consultation. And what happened after was amazing to watch. You have to remember Mexico got their second goal from a penalty, and we'll talk about that decision in a minute. But really, a couple of saves to Pickford, lots of balls into the box. But actually, England defended brilliantly, and all those tactical changes, his subs again. Thomas Tuchel deserves huge credit for this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And I think I still have my doubts over elements of the selection, but it certainly vindicated some of those decisions when you consider how the last half an hour played out. Because you look at that last water break, the changes he then makes. He introduced Jed Spence, he introduces Dan Burn, goes to the 5. It's basically saying to Mexico, right, this is all you're going to be able to do in this last half an hour. It ended up being 45 minutes. It's absolutely astonishing when you consider the stoppage time. It just basically said, go on then, load the box, try and beat us in the air, try and create playing in that way against us. And yes, Dan Burn was phenomenal. Gregor mentioned Margehi, Jordan Pickford. In a tournament where we haven't really seen keepers necessarily dominate their box like that, Pickford was unbelievable in his command of the penalty area. But it was also the structure. It was the way in which they were intelligent with the way they were closing down crosses. They never allowed space, never overcommitted to allow themselves to be beaten, particularly in fullback areas. And a lot of that's to do with the work rate as well, which you can't forget. But specifically for Tuchel, I think you're right, Tom. When you go down to 10 men, even just psychologically, knowing that you've got so much time, you're playing in that environment, you are already shattered. During that last 20 minutes, you're looking at all of them individually and just like, oh man, he is absolutely gone. He is absolutely knackered up. Yeah, he is done. And yet they just kept going and going. Jude Bellingham is honestly a performance for the ages. I've never seen anything like it in an England shirt. Not just because of the goals, but the man kept running. He just kept going. I thought at some point, maybe he'll collapse. He's going to go at some point. But he did everything. It was sensational. But it wasn't just him. Anthony Gordon, mentioned Pickford. It's just
Anthony Gordon. My goodness, yeah. Both in kind of both sides of the game, because he had the instincts of a striker to follow the knockdown from Kane to win that penalty. He did the thing that everyone's been crying out for in the first half about beating a man on the outside down the line, getting crosses in. He was involved in the second goal. In terms of, I think Elliot Anderson won the ball back, but he kind of scrapped to keep the move alive and win it. And then for the whole second half, really, his defensive discipline, his work rate, the way he's basically playing like a fullback as well. It's almost like they had two fullbacks on the left, and he was just tireless with his running. So that was another big tick for Tuchel in terms of that selection, because it's been a toss of a coin between him and Rashford, but this game suited him because of the discipline he shows in his defensive side of the game, and boy did they need it.
In terms of this performance as well, just thinking about the Croatia game and this tournament as a whole, like England being fun, England being crazy, is there something about this team that maybe it suits the big occasion? Thomas Tuchel has said we'll play better against better teams. What do you think?
Well, yeah, there's always truth in the idea that a team who wants to play against England will make England look better. And that was true in this game. It was also there was also so much more than that. It's not England. The game was fun because it was wild. England were actually really disciplined when they had to be, and that's even before the madness ensued. That's like in that first 20 minutes or so until the first water break, where you had to try and kill the atmosphere. You had to knock it around. You had to buy fouls, which Gordon actually did brilliantly as well on a number of occasions. You had to do anything you could to slow down the game and to make it just to dampen the atmosphere, and you did that brilliantly. And then you got the goal, and then you got the goal again, and that was a kind of just massive counter punch. And yeah, so like that was intelligent play as well. It wasn't like, because Mexico were coming out, you were dominating the game. Actually, you didn't. Mexico got a lot of the ball, and you were really smart at the moments you jumped and won it back. So yeah, and I think Tuchel has said that throughout. He said that the further we go, the better we'll get. And we've obviously got another sort of different proposition now in Norway. I'm sure we'll come to that later. But you're at the stage of the tournament now where the opposition aren't going to be like a Ghana or a Panama. It's going to be a team who also wants to try and come and win the game.
We're not going anywhere near Norway yet, mate. We're not going anywhere near. We've only just done 12 minutes of hype. I've got at least another half an hour in me. Pete, your thoughts on that same question?
Yeah, I think this is a moment's team. I was really heartened by the 2 goals that Bellingham scored, the way that England constructed them. I mean, it's the first goal where Rice covers all of that ground. Am I right? It's such a blur, the memory. It's so close together.
Declan Rice bombing down the right wing and then giving it to Saka.
But just the way that move was constructed, you mentioned Gregor and Gordon's movement, because it takes some of the defenders out of the way, and then Bellingham comes in and he's untracked. And the way they constructed those goals was appealing, because for me, the performances we've seen from England haven't been particularly great. And even the Croatia game, that was 45 minutes, and that's all we've seen. Even this game, God, I don't want to be negative, blimey, I was straight away. So there's always an inner England fan in you, isn't there?
Don't do it.
This was about resilience and character and structure and being intelligent, and it had those creativity, which is what I was pleased about. It's just it's the patterns when we do dominate the ball in those kind of games. And to an extent, we kind of got away with it. Got away with Congo because we had moments. We had Harry Kane twice, basically. Against Panama, got there eventually. Moments. I think even Croatia in that second half was to a degree a bit like that. And those are the games where you need more lock pickers, and I don't know if we have enough of those lock pickers, and that's fine. But this is a team that he's built, and I think Gregor's right. Once you go into the knockout phases, the games are going to be more dynamic, and I think the way we've seen in the other games how tight they are. Here it's Mexico City, it's the Azteca, it's altitude. And it's how you respond to all of these scenarios. It's the mental fortitude, it's the resilience, it's the character, and that's what Tuchel has built. And now, having seen this, coming through this, having that under your belt, coming into the next games, I think that does so much. And I've had a full U-turn on where we're going, so I'm all in.
He's drunk the Kool-Aid, everybody. He's fully behind the Thomas Tuchel hype train. Gregor?
Because I was just going to say, we keep saying these words, character, resilience. Mexico's response to going 2-0 down was outstanding at the end of that first half. Like the free kick, it was a great delivery, and Konsa kind of half cleared, and it was smashed in, and you're like, oh my God, they've shot straight back. Then Jimenez flashed that shot wide that just past the post, then he had a header that Pickford leaped out, tipped over the bar. Bellingham's clearance with Montez at the back post. You forget all these things now because so much happened afterwards. They had a lot of chances, and and England held on. They held on to the lead. They showed resilience even at the end of the first half. And then after the way the second half started, they started brilliantly, and could have extended the lead. And then you're down to 10 men and the game changes again. So there were so many ups and downs and wild oscillations in this game. And you managed to see it through. That's the thing that this team did that so many teams in the past haven't. And you managed to get over the line.
So thrilling. Honestly, I'm still buzzing just listening to you talk about it on this podcast. I mean, we've only done 16 minutes. I've watched every game of this World Cup. I'm already excited about watching that one again. That's how good it was. I'm thinking about my friend Sam, who's got his 5-year-old son, 6-year-old son Milo. They've not watched it. They're going to get up in the morning and watch it. I'm so excited for them. Imagine watching that with your kid. Absolutely incredible. A couple of bits of maybe quick analysis, actually, on some of the decisions. 2 huge VAR calls. Jarrell Quansah, red card. It can be quick in this answer. Greg, I'll start with you, former defender.
Yes. Just when you go over the top of the ball like that, I think Alan Shearer said in the commentary, he's kind of won the ball with his knee. So, he'd gone over it and the ball had rolled over under his knee and his foot planted into him. I think in the modern day, you watch that in real time, it looks like a hard tackle that he's gone into a bit over exuberantly, but you see it in VAR and it's a stonewall.
I actually thought in real time it looked like a bad challenge. So I wasn't particularly surprised. I actually surprised it wasn't given because it was because of his momentum as he comes through. You're going in like
It was
that,
there
and
to
you
be
can see
won.
that but you can see his studs are up. Like it's not. This isn't a great technique on that slide challenge.
It's that scissor, isn't it? That scissor, isn't it? It never looks good, does it?
So happy for Quansah. I mean, he must be the most relieved man in Mexico City because you don't want to be the fall guy. So he must be so relieved. I'm really pleased
And
with
he
him.
played well for 50 minutes, so we can just remember that 50 minutes beforehand. On the penalty, Pete, penalty, yes or no, for the Harry Kane foul?
Yeah, for me it was. Because I mean, we've seen them given, and yeah, it's the same as the Modric Madueke one as well.
I don't like it, but I think I'd probably look at it and think that's probably a penalty. But Gregor, former defender.
I don't like it, and I don't want it to be a penalty. I don't think it should have been a penalty. I think it's another example of slow motion replays warping our perceptions of what is and what isn't a foul. And I hate the fact that now, and everyone seems to accept the fact that that's a foul. It's a nonsense.
In terms of the next game, just thinking about that right back spot then, because we'll talk about suspended red cards and things in the second half of the show. I'm not sure Jarrell Quansah is going to be, so he will miss that quarter-final game against Norway. If Ezri Konsa's got anything left in his legs in a couple of days' time after that performance, it looked to me like that's a solution at right back. If John Stones is fit enough to play 90 minutes against Erling Haaland, that would be where I would be going. Thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think the way that the second half panned out, you have possibilities. Like Jed Spence kind of has restored his reputation a bit. This is what World Cups are like. You rise and fall in the space of a 20-minute cameo or whatever. And his cameo against Congo was disastrous, and this on this occasion he was brilliant. So you look at the opposition again probably, and you want a physical battle. Maybe the fact Stones knows Erling Haaland might come into it a bit, but Konsa's a kind of a bit more of a physical presence. So I think if there's any way you can have him in centre half, he might. But I think you have two players who can play at right back now, and I don't think it needs to be the sort of existential crisis that had been built up to be.
No. We've done enough England existential crisis on this podcast over the last couple of tournaments. We'll leave it there. I mean, other players that you think deserve a merit? I mean, I think as well, Bukayo Saka, the guy is clearly playing on about one leg at the minute, but with that run and cross, showed why he's in the team. Because I don't mind Noni Madueke's performances at time, but that is what Saka delivers, isn't it? Just absolute quality on that right wing.
He's a cut above, isn't he? That's the difference. What he can do in the box in the final third. That's why you want him in the team. I'd say Saka, but also Rice with him. I mean, forget that Rice was booked after 60 seconds, and then to come through a game like that where you are under the cosh so much, you are working against the ball for so long. And I mentioned the first goal, the way they combined. That's kind of the Arsenal call we want. Still need to improve on the set plays, though. I've been quite disappointed on the corners we've seen.
I'd just like to make another word for Elliot Anderson. I think we've done it. He's become on the regular show when I always go, and we have to give credit to Brighton after they've beaten Liverpool or Man United. It's become like a kind of catchphrase of this World Cup. And Elliot Anderson did well. Like for tournaments and tournaments, we've said, England have not got a central midfielder. They've not got anyone to play next to Declan Rice. This guy, I mean, he's just moved for £116 million. He keeps going like this. He's going to look worth every penny. Like the way he won the ball back, he's playing brilliantly in midfield, almost so that you don't notice him. That's how good he's been.
And the other thing I'd want to highlight is, yes, the way he jumped and stole the ball from Gilberto Mora was brilliant for the second goal. But Mora did him twice earlier in the half with that same turn. Mora's a player. He's a great little player. He could turn on a sixpence, and he did it once to him in the first half and sent him for a hot dog. And then another time he did it and got a 1-2 round and got a shot, and it was blocked. It didn't come to anything. So to still have the bravery to go again and do it when you know this is a player who's crafty says a lot about him. And yeah, he's really, really disciplined. Brilliant. I mean, everyone was. Saka, you're right. That moment of subtlety when you get into that position that Rice kind of created for him, and Pickford, we should say, with the throw out, and then he just jinks to buy that yard of space, and the quality, the little dink was just, that subtlety he has in those clutch moments was crucial. But I didn't there was one you saw in a slow motion replay where he got kicked on the Achilles, and he's like, I've had the tendonitis in the Achilles, and my God, that would have been agony. Like I feel like he's just going to have to be wrapped up in cotton wool, and you get whatever minutes you can out of him between now and then. He's not going to be able to play 90 minutes in any of the games, I don't think. But yeah, all of them, they were all brilliant. They were.
Yeah. Absolutely. Super Jordan Pickford as well with some huge saves in this game. Pete, you mentioned it earlier. The guy is a big game player. Someone will finally listen to me. I've been saying it for so long. Just wanted to finish with a couple of bits of hype. We've done some hype, we've done some analysis. Wanted to wrap up part one with a bit more hype. Gregor, Pete called Jude Bellingham's performance earlier one of the generational performances, and I think he's right. You've mentioned the clearance, the 2 goals, the endless running. I mean, people have talked at this tournament and recently about who replaces Harry Kane in this team. I mean, they've got a ready-made England captain there and waiting, haven't they? This guy is absolutely unbelievable. The idea that we went into this tournament questioning whether he starts is true madness, really. This guy just keeps delivering on the biggest stages. He just loves it. He strolled into the Azteca, scored 2 goals and stuck his arms out and went, yeah, it's me, lads, it's me.
There's no stage that he doesn't think he belongs on. There's no stage too big. This is what he's born to do. And it's rare you say that about someone. His mentality is almost unique. You see these kind of players so rarely that they just have supreme confidence in themselves, and you couple that with his remarkable talent and work rate and all that kind of stuff. But and we should say there was another question mark. Johnny's written about this really well about his sort of relationship with Harry Kane. That was a part of the reason for people questioning his place in the team. Morgan Rogers has started to be that conduit as a number 10, and so there was a lot of kind of support behind him. But Bellingham's clearly recognised that and thought, I need to do something about this. And you even see the way they're celebrating goals. And he's probably
together, yeah.
Yeah, they're good. He's probably thought to himself, I need to strike up a bit of a relationship with this guy. And they've clearly bonded a bit. And yeah, the movement for the first goal, the way that Kane went from back post to near post, and Bellingham did the opposite. And they think, wherever the cross went, Kane was the first man at the front post, and Bellingham was the guy ready for the next one. I just running out of things to say about him. He just. If there's any stage that he's got to steal the show, or he feels he should steal the show. That's the way he goes into every game. That's just the way he is.
Yeah, he'll keep delivering, won't he? Pete, just to wrap up then, I mean, Matt mentioned there's something happening with this Thomas Tuchel team. You said you've done a kind of bit of a reverse turn on what your expectations are. Looking at this tournament, we've seen so much football already. We're gearing up for the quarterfinals with some round of 16 games still to go. Do you think England are in the mix after that?
Yeah, the Azteca was a full stop for me. I didn't see England getting beyond the Azteca. A lot's made of oh, well, look how good this Mexico team are. And they blah, 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 and then breaking down their ridiculous record. Doesn't matter. To go there, to win in those circumstances, to win in the circumstances within the game, to play like that, to show that you can win in incredible adversity. And then you look at the rest of the tournament, and yeah, Norway will be a competitive game. Then you're looking at a semi-final. We've seen how tight these knockout games are, and why not? Why not England?
Why not England? There we go. Finishing the hype train nice and strong. We will be back after this quick break. We'll also be talking about Norway. Stick with us. Welcome back to the Game Football Podcast from the Times and Sunday Times. These are our daily World Cup shows. I am Tom Clarke and I've got Gregor Robertson and Peter Rutzler with me. England will face Norway in the quarter-finals of this World Cup after 2 more goals from Erling Haaland. What a tournament he is having in terms of hype. We've got to give him some hype. 7 goals in 4 games. He's now level with Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi in the Golden Boot race. Very, very impressive from Norway. I've got to say, there's a lot of Brazil and Carlo Ancelotti are getting a lot of flack online. I actually thought they were quite good. Quite a fascinating game. They could have been 2-0 up. Bruno Guimaraes scores that penalty and Endrick takes this chance. But Haaland delivers again. I mean, it is such a buzz to see Erling Haaland deliver at this World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, and the way he just walks off sheepishly with a big grin on his face, it's like, oh, this is getting quite big. It's kind of that kind of that's the strange thing about him for such a kind of global superstar. He's got this kind of goofy side that's he almost trying to downplay his enormous importance to this Norway side. He does look like a bit sheepish about it. But everyone else knows. You see, like, as soon as the final whistle went, everyone's straight over to him, just like absolutely.
There's amazing pictures of them all celebrating, and he's like carrying them.
Yeah,
they like the metaphors are there. You don't like he's literally carrying like 4 of them on his back. It's amazing.
And then Odegaard passed the metaphorical, baton as the drumstick to beat the drum for the row at the end. It was extraordinary. It's still, you still have the same conversation about him being so kind of anonymous. I think he had 1 touch in the Brazil box in the first half. Azrini had 30 touches in the whole game, which is the same amount as Nusa, who was taken off at half time. But it doesn't matter. Like we keep having this conversation. It's understandable to some extent, and we referenced James Gearbrandt, a really great piece about that kind of strange sort of, I don't know, state of affairs about someone who might come to the World Cup and be desperate to see one of the biggest footballers on the planet, and then be like, where is he? And then, he pops up and scores a goal, and then he does it again. And then the whole kind of battle with Gabriel, it wasn't really a battle. It was a bit of a damp squid. There was a couple of wrestles from really direct long balls.
But he lost him for the goal, though. Losing for the
moment
goal.
When it really mattered, he was on his blind side, and Gabriel, there was no one else in the box. I don't know why someone who's so like used to being physical and getting tight and grappling and all that kind of stuff didn't do it in that moment. He gave him that yard to get on the blind side and beat him to the header. And then just a clinical finish for the second. Extraordinary. And his record, he's got 62 goals and 54 internationals, which is a goal every 71 minutes. Only 6 of them have been penalties. Apparently, the last time he didn't score for Norway was back in October 2024. Like, the last time he played for Norway and didn't score a goal. So, England, beware. That's clearly the...
Don't start. Boo. Don't start. Not yet. Boo. We'll be doing plenty of England-Norway analysis in the coming days. Boo. Don't start. I mean, he's just incredible, isn't he, Erling Haaland, Pete? Like, he's like 4 strikers rolled into one. I was watching it thinking, like, he's a bit like kind of Didier Drogba. He's got his reactions. I've never seen a striker since, like, Filippo Inzaghi come alive in the box so much. Like, just like walking, looking uninterested. And then it's like, there's a cross coming. Right, bang. And he's a bit like Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. He's just such a phenomenon. Like, he's so fantastic, and his personality, just, again, one of the many treats of this World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't want him to become one of those great players that, I mean, when you're representing a country like Norway and you don't really get to perform on these stages, that often, this is Norway's first World Cup in such a long time. And for him to then own the stage, I mean, we talked about that with Jude Bellingham, but to do so with a team like Norway, I mean, it in that role as well. I mean, I know exactly what you're saying, Tom, and I completely agree, because he has everything, and considering his frame, his physical frame and stature, that's pretty remarkable for a centre forward. It makes him almost superhuman. But you're playing in a team that's not always going to be able to provide you the service, and I think that's actually been part of why Norway have been so impressive. I haven't watched a lot of them, admittedly, this tournament, but from what I've read and what I have seen, their players around him they're feeding the beast, and then the beast is feasting. And we're all better for it.
There are many other heroes in this game. I would say Patrick Berg. I think he's been outstanding. Like I mentioned him before, Bodo Glimt captain. Since he's come into the team, he's added something definitely. And then Orjan Nyland, the goalkeeper, that save he made when it was like a bizarre, I think it was Ayer, kind of tackled Endrick, and it looked up and it was going in, and he's backtracking and clawed it onto the post and like hit his face off the post in the process. And look, they had 66% of the ball.
I was just going to say as well, substitutes as well, making 2 changes at half-time. Manager Nusa and Sorloth off. Oscar Bob coming on. I thought he looked really bright. And Shelderup got the assist for the first goal. I think he might have got the assist for the second one as well. Not sure it really counts, but in terms of just passing Erling Haaland a sideways pass. But brilliant. Again, yeah, they are feeding the beast. They are a proper team. They play like a team, and they know what they're doing. I will come back to say that I thought Brazil were pretty good in this game at times. They could and should have been 2-0 up, in my opinion. But they bow out again. One of the great little moments of this World Cup, and a great little moment on a massive, massive day of stories. Neymar's little cameo at the end, retiring from international football by coming on, kicking a few people in the same way that he's been kicked his entire career. then taking the penalty, mouthing off to the Norway goalkeeper that I'm going to score, then showing everyone how to do a stutter penalty at this tournament, and then bursting into tears at full time. Like, I mean, there can't be a better summary of Neymar's entire career than...
Or Brazil's World Cup, maybe.
Or Brazil's World Cup, indeed, because Brazil, since winning the 2002 World Cup, we've got quarterfinals, fourth placed, 2 more quarterfinals, and now the round of 16. It's their longest drought since first winning the competition in 1958. Really, really interesting stuff in that one. Every day of this World Cup, I've been editing the World Cup newsletter for our subscribers. Every day I have to pick a match of the day. I woke up this morning thinking, well, this is job done. Spain, Portugal, no problem. Easy choice for match of the day. Then along comes Gianni Infantino, FIFA, and that bloke called Donald Trump. And we've got a suspended red card for Folarin Balogun. Have you ever seen anything like it? You thought this podcast had it all in terms of drama at the World Cup. Unbelievable. Can I just say, I was walking around my living room ranting and raving and putting it on social media about how upset I was about that being a red card. I think everyone agrees. But Pete, just tell us, you were in the USA camp when this news broke. Tell us about it and catch listeners up on what the latest is.
Folarin Balogun, we learn, will be available to face Belgium despite being sent off and receiving an automatic one-match ban that supposedly there is no recourse for appeal, which is what we were told immediately after the game against Bosnia-Herzegovina when he was sent off. But FIFA have invoked the magical Article 27, which has been used before to help Cristiano Ronaldo play a full part in this World Cup. And they, without really explaining how this has happened, have invoked Article 27 to suspend his one-match ban, which is supposed to be automatic according to the disciplinary code, for a year. So he will be available. Obviously, this was quite the story. We then asked the players how they found out. So first up was Chris Richards, the Crystal Palace defender. He basically said, yeah, we were on the coach just coming to training and we saw it on social media and I thought it was AI, one of those AI slot posts that we see everywhere these days. No, it turns out that when they got there, they found out it was true. Obviously, they're pleased. Balogun is their top scorer. He's been fantastic for the US. He makes a difference. The next big thing is, well, how Belgium going to react to this? So we head over to the Azteca Stadium, otherwise known as Lumen Field, for when it's non-FIFA purposes, where Rudy Garcia, the Belgian coach, addressed the media alongside Thibaut Courtois. Belgium released a statement just before that where they described it as astonishing. They said they would consider all options available to protect the integrity of the competition and the sport. Garcia clearly had a prepped line because he came in, the first thing he said was, I didn't know that July 5th, which is today's date, is April Fool's for FIFA. So didn't go down particularly well with Belgium, but there's more to this story in terms of how this came about. And part of that, as you mentioned, is the fact that, it's our understanding that Donald Trump called Gianni Infantino about the red card. US Soccer said that they were engaged in that process, the disciplinary process. My understanding of that is that their legal team presented a case based on reviewing of slow motion images on VAR. Remarkable stuff, genuinely astonishing to see Donald Trump then posted on Truth Social saying that great injustice has been overseen. And look, in my opinion, like you, Tom, never a red card, never a red card. The problem is that they have seemingly gone through their disciplinary code to change the circumstances that have allowed a player to play when otherwise they wouldn't. He wouldn't have been able to do so. Genuinely astonishing. I mean, Mauricio Pochettino then came out and said, "Look, we've been punished enough because we played half an hour with 10 men. We should celebrate this." And then also highlighted the fact that they'd sort of pushed to change it. But there'll be more to it once we get to the game tomorrow. And I'm sure if the US beat Belgium, it will escalate again. But my understanding is that they're considering taking it to CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport. So there's room for this story to run. But one feeling I have, because the vibes of the US team And Pochettino, as I've outlined multiple times this podcast, you'll have noticed it from the stuff I write, it's been really positive. It's been a good story. It's been a great story about a team that's coming together, bringing a lot of people together here behind the team. You know, the Bosnia game was the most watched soccer game in the United States ever, period. Like, it was more than 33.5 million people saw it. This is going to leave an asterisk. Like, this is going to leave a mark.
That's why they shouldn't play him.
Pete mentioned the word asterisk there. That is the exact word that Martin Samuel, our chief correspondent, has used in a headline on the Times website, saying whatever USA achieve now, this World Cup will carry an asterisk. His intro reads, "Why do folk think the worst of FIFA? It just saves time. It has taken the best part of a month to get here, but Sunday was the day football's governing body laid waste to its own tournament." Gregor, your reaction to some of what Pete said and to this, just to finally wrap it up, because as I say, it does tee up another massive day tomorrow.
There's just a feeling that, like, if you're Mauricio Pochettino and knowing all that Pete just said about the atmosphere he's cultivated and the positivity, I think it'd be a mistake to play him. And like, I know you can counter that by saying he shouldn't have been sent off in the first place, and that's fair enough. But he was, and for him to be kind of pardoned like this is an absolute disgrace. And like, you think you get to a point with FIFA where nothing can surprise you. You know, they say that they couldn't interfere when fans were barred from entering the country, or when Iran were treated abominably by the States, or when Omar Artan, the Somalian referee, was denied entry. Like, we can't interfere in any of these things. But when a country kind of makes a call and says, you know, I think you should try and interfere in this, it's just extraordinary stuff. So, like I say, I think Mauricio Pochettino is a smart guy, and I think he'll have sort of deep misgivings about the way this has happened, even if it is good for his team to have their star striker back. I think it would be a mistake for him to play him.
Just very quickly, Pete, a yes or no? Do you think he'll play him?
I don't know. I don't know. Because I agree with Gregor. I mean, a lot of what I've covered at this tournament on the West Coast has been about integrity at the World Cup, like dealing a lot with what Iran were dealing with. This is the most extraordinary story. I think Gregor's right. I wouldn't play him, but he's been so important to them, and he's available. So sometimes you look at that and you just play the cards in front of you. I don't know if does that change what's happened if he plays or not? I don't think so. I think the damage is done.
It does if he scores.
Yeah, if he scores the last minute winner. We will see. Pete Rutzler will be there for that huge game tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us, Pete, from the States. Thank you very much, Gregor, for joining us. Thank you too for listening. It's been an absolutely brilliant show. This is an absolutely brilliant tournament. We've got plenty more to come tomorrow. We will see you then.